She's been homeless for 2 years, but every night she writes letters to someone who may already be dead. And inside that red notebook lies the one secret she'd rather die than reveal. On a freezing night in the city, where people rush past without seeing anyone but themselves, a thin girl sits alone on the sidewalk. Her name is Rhea. Her hair is tangled, her clothes are torn, and her eyes look like they've witnessed storms most people can't even imagine. But what stands out the most is the red notebook pressed tightly against her chest, as if her entire life depends on it. Rhea doesn't beg. She doesn't speak. She simply watches the world move on, while she stays frozen in her own silent tragedy. To everyone else, she is just another homeless girl. But if they knew what was inside that notebook, they would stop, stare, and never forget her. Rhea guards that red notebook like a lifeline. She sleeps with it under her jacket. She eats while keeping one hand on it, and when someone passes too close, her body tenses, ready to fight or run. People assume it's just a diary. Some think she's crazy, writing nonsense. But they don't see how her hands tremble when she opens it at night. They don't hear the way her breath breaks when she flips a page. Inside that notebook are letters. Letters filled with emotion so raw, so painful, that even she hesitates to read them twice. Every line is written to someone she once loved, someone who may never come back again. For weeks, a man has watched her from a distance, not in judgment, not in pity, but in concern. His name is Areez, a quiet soul with his own invisible wounds. He sees something in Rhea that others don't. A girl not broken by life, but fighting desperately to stay alive. One evening, he approaches her slowly, careful not to frighten her. He places a cup of hot coffee beside her and says softly, "You don't have to talk. Just drink. It's cold." Rhea doesn't thank him. She doesn't even look at him. She only tightens her grip on the red notebook, as if he might try to steal the last piece of her heart. Areez steps back. He understands fear. He's lived with his own. But something tells him this girl's fear comes from a place far darker than loneliness. That night, Rhea curls under an abandoned bus stop. City lights flicker, cars rush past, but her mind is somewhere else. Her fingers trace the notebook's worn-out cover. She opens it slowly, carefully, as if touching something sacred. And then she writes. Her handwriting shakes. Tears fall onto the page, smudging the ink. Her lips move silently, as though she's speaking to someone who can't hear her anymore. Her letters always begin the same way. "I miss you, more than yesterday." But the ending? That changes every night. Some nights it's anger. Some nights it's guilt. Some nights it's pure heartbreak. Who is she writing to? Why does she cry every night? And why does she cling to those letters, like her soul is trapped inside them? Only Rhea knows, and she's not ready to tell the world. As she writes, flashes of her past creep into her mind. Not memories, but wounds that never healed. A door slamming, a child crying, a woman shouting, a hand striking, a small voice begging, "Please, don't leave me." Rhea shuts the notebook instantly, gasping for air. Her entire body trembles. The past isn't gone. It follows her like a shadow she can't outrun. Somewhere deep inside that notebook lies the truth about the person she lost, the reason she was thrown out, the tragedy that shattered her life. But that truth is still hidden between those fragile red pages. The next morning arrives cold and unforgiving. The streets buzz with life, but Rhea feels like a ghost drifting through a world that has forgotten her existence. She moves slowly, holding the red notebook close to her ribs, like it's the only warmth left in her life. Areez watches her from across the street. He isn't stalking her. He just can't walk away. There's something in her loneliness that pulls him, something in her silence that demands to be heard. He approaches again. Carefully, he places a sandwich beside her, not too close, not too far. And then he says softly, "You don't have to talk, but you do need to eat." For the first time, Rhea looks up. Her eyes meet his, hollow, trembling, full of stories locked behind trauma. She opens her mouth, and in a voice that's barely more than a whisper, she says, "Thank you." It's the first word she has spoken to anyone in months. Areez freezes, because in that tiny broken word, ... he hears a kind of pain that no heart should ever carry. That night, Rhea sits under a flickering street lamp, the notebook open on her lap. She writes, slow, steady, breathing shakily between every word. But tonight, something feels different. Her mind drifts deeper than it has in a long time. Her pen slows, her eyes soften. A memory rises. She sees Meher, a little girl with bright eyes, running through a sunlit hallway, calling, "Rhea, look what I drew." Rhea remembers laughter, warmth, the rare days when home felt like a home. But then the memory shifts. The hallway darkens. Saba's voice echoes, sharp, cruel, slicing through the air. "Rhea, you useless girl, get out of my sight." The pen slips from her fingers. Her breathing turns shallow. Her hands tremble violently. She curls around the notebook, clinging to it as tears spill onto the pages. The city around her keeps moving. Cars passing, people talking, lights flashing. But Rhea is trapped in a memory that refuses to let her go. Tonight, the city didn't just remind her of her past, it pulled her back into it. Areez sits inside his car, engine off, watching Rhea from across the street. He sees the way she shakes. He sees the way she wipes her tears with the back of her sleeve. He sees the way she clutches the notebook, like it's the only thing keeping her alive. And that's when something shifts inside him. Areez has always been careful, always distant. He's the kind of man who carries his own grief quietly. But watching Rhea break, piece by piece, he realizes he can't just walk away anymore. He steps out of the car, walks toward her, slowly, steadily, heart pounding. He takes off his jacket and places it around her shoulders, not touching her, not forcing her, just offering warmth. Rhea flinches, but she doesn't push it away. Areez sits down beside her on the cold pavement, not close enough to scare her, not far enough. For a long moment, they sit in silence, a broken girl and a hurting man, sharing a night neither of them will forget. Areez looks at the notebook in her trembling hands. He doesn't ask to read it. He doesn't ask what's inside. He just asks one simple question. Who are you writing to? Rhea freezes. Her fingers tighten around the notebook until her knuckles turn white. Her breath catches. Her chest rises and falls rapidly. No one has asked her that question before. No one dares touch the wound she hides behind ink and paper. Her lips tremble. I can't. Her voice breaks. I can't say it. Areez nods gently. I won't force you, he says softly. But someday, when you're ready, I'll listen. Rhea looks at him like no one has ever said that to her. No judgment, no pressure, just understanding. For the first time, she doesn't feel completely alone. By the next morning, something is wrong. Rhea's skin is pale, her lips are dry, and she sways every time she tries to stand. Areez reaches out to steady her. "You're burning up," he whispers. Rhea shakes her head, clutching the red notebook. "No, I can't go anywhere. I can't lose this. If I lose this, I lose her." Her words slip out before she can stop them. Her. Areez realizes she isn't writing to a lover or a friend, but to someone she once protected, someone she lost. He helps her sit down. Her body trembles with fever, her breaths uneven. "Rhea, who is she?" he asks gently. Rhea closes her eyes. Tears fall slowly. "She was my sister." Her voice breaks like glass. "My Meher, my little Meher." And, for the first time, the truth begins to surface. The letters, the pain, the red notebook, they were all for a girl she couldn't save. Rhea sits on the curb, beneath a flickering street lamp, the city's hum a distant lullaby. She opens the red notebook with hands that tremble, not from cold, but from memory. The camera lingers on inked dates, a torn photograph pressed between pages. Her voice, raw, measured, reads a fragment addressed to a name she has buried. "I kept you in these lines so I could find the courage to say goodbye." As she speaks, flashbacks stitch together. A kitchen argument, a slammed door, a small pair of shoes left on a hallway floor. Each sentence peels another layer of the life she lost. Not just people, but rituals, birthdays, and the tiny certainties that crumbled. The audience feels the specificity. A lullaby tuned wrong, a birthday cake with one candle missing. Details that make grief painfully real. This is not exposition. It's memory performed, and it makes the viewer ache. Areez watches from across the street, unseen, his silhouette a question mark in the rain. Rhea's reading falters when she reaches a folded letter labeled only with an initial. Her throat tightens at the sight of the handwriting. The same handwriting in a photograph tucked inside the back cover. The camera cuts to close-ups, the curl of an M, a coffee stain that matches a scrap of fabric in Meher's scarf. Rhea whispers the name into the night. It's not just an identity, it's the anchor of her whole history. In voiceover, she confesses how that person's absence rewired her world. When they were taken, something in me learned to survive without being seen. The scene builds emotional tension by pairing intimate physical details, the smell of talcum powder, the broken toy, with the precise emotional stakes, reunion or irreparable loss. The audience senses the scale of the void. Areez approaches with cautious distance. His own burden emerges in a low, confessional tone as he admits to Rhea that he once failed someone he loved, a mirror to her loss. He describes a night when he turned away, the decision that haunts him, and how he's been trying to atone by keeping an eye on the city's most fragile corners. The voiceover folds his memory into hers. "I carry my own ledger of apologies," he says, and he produces a crumpled note he's kept for years. The dialogue becomes a duet of wounded honesty, the soundtrack swelling not with melodrama, but with quiet piano that lets the words land. This is the scene where empathy cements between strangers. Their traumas don't erase each other. They recognize and prop one another up. For the American viewer, the emotional logic is direct. Two flawed people learning to trust small acts over grand promises. Rhea finds between the notebook's pages a photograph she'd convinced herself was gone. A candid shot of Meher laughing on sunlight-soaked steps. The image becomes a portal. In voiceover, Rhea narrates that memory in sensory detail. The heat of the stone, the exact cadence of Meher's laugh, the freckles across a cheek, bringing Meher back into the room even if she is absent. As Rhea traces the photo's edges, the scene intercuts to a present-day Meher, alive but distant, glimpsed only briefly at a community shelter doorway. The audience is given both revelation and hope. The missing person may still be somewhere in town, which changes the stakes from mourning to a possible search. This part widens the story from inner monologue to mission. The notebook is no longer just comfort, it's a map. Dawn arrives pale and decisive. Rhea closes the notebook, face set in a new determination that ripples through her posture. In voiceover, she vows, not with rhetoric, but with small, concrete plans, visiting an old address, speaking to a neighbor, learning Meher's favorite song to hum as a memory beacon. Areez offers practical help, contacts, a place to sleep for a night, the promise of a ride. The tone is gritty but tender, with emphasis on action over sentiment. "I will knock on the doors you could not," she says, and the lines read like a promise to herself. The last beat of the part is cinematic. Rhea tucks the red notebook away, stands, and steps into the light of morning. The city around her indifferent, but full of avenues to search. This is a turning point. The plot shifts from recollection to pursuit, and it leaves the viewer leaning forward, invested in what comes next. The morning air is crisp enough to sting the lungs, yet Rhea walks with purpose, a purpose she hasn't felt in years. Her hands clutch the red notebook like a lifeline as she and Areez approach an aging apartment complex on the quieter side of the city. The building looks exhausted, cracked paint peeling in strips, windows clouded with years of neglect, and stair rails rusted into a reddish-brown memory. A single bicycle, too small for an adult, lies abandoned near the dumpster, its training wheels missing. Rhea stares at it, just a second longer than normal. Her voiceover begins, trembling but steadying as she speaks. This was the last place Meher laughed freely. These steps, they once echoed with her running. I can still hear it sometimes, a whisper of a life I almost held on to. Rhea moves toward the door and runs her fingers over the dents on the frame. Dents she remembers Meher making with her toy hammer. Each scratch is a timestamp of another life. Space. A neighbor peeks through the blinds, suspicious. Areez steps forward protectively, but gently. "Let me talk first. People here don't trust easy." Inside Rhea's chest, memories throb like open wounds. She doesn't want anyone else speaking for her, not anymore. But she lets him try, because the pain of doing it alone is worse. The scene closes with Rhea inhaling deeply, as if preparing for the truth to punch her. The apartment hallway is dim, lit only by a single flickering bulb that buzzes like an irritated bee. Paint smells linger from a job done months ago, but abandoned halfway, just like the lives inside these walls. A door creaks open. A woman in her 50s, Saba, peers out. Tired eyes, hair pinned hastily, hands stained with detergent from morning chores. Areez introduces them, but the moment Saba sees Rhea's face, something softens. Recognition or sympathy? The camera holds on her lingering gaze. Rhea opens the red notebook slowly, revealing a page with Meher's handwriting. She whispers, "Do you remember her?" Saba's breath catches. She steps aside, motioning them in. The apartment smells of cardamom tea and aging furniture. Warm, lived in, nostalgic. Saba begins, "I remember the day they left. Meher, she didn't want to go." Rhea's heart stops. Every fiber in her body freezes, as if afraid movement might shatter the memory before it's fully spoken. Saba continues detailing. There was shouting. Papers slammed on the table. Someone grabbed her by the wrist. She kept calling your name, Rhea, over and over. Rhea's lips tremble. Her voiceover overlays the scene. "I thought I failed her because I wasn't strong enough. But hearing this, I failed her because someone took her from me." She asks the question her soul has starved to know. Where did they take her? But Saba only shakes her head. I don't know. I only know Meher cried for you until the car. Silence fills the room like a weight. Saba rummages in an old wooden drawer, swollen from humidity, tough to open, and after a minute, pulls out a tiny folded paper. She hands it to Rhea silently, as if passing on a sacred inheritance. Rhea unfolds it with trembling fingers. Inside is a doctor's appointment slip, name smudged, date faded, but the clinic stamp still visible. Daniel Family Clinic, downtown sector. The world narrows to that single name. Rhea whispers it like a prayer. Dr. Daniel. Areez instantly notices the shift in her breathing. Short, shallow, emotional. How does that name connect? He asks. Rhea closes her eyes. Memories flash like broken reels. Dr. Daniel treating Meher's fever once. His promise to look out for her. A meeting that ended abruptly when paperwork was mentioned. Her voiceover. He wasn't just a doctor. He was the last adult who promised he'd protect her. If she was taken, he might know why. The camera cuts to Rhea standing up sharply, determination vibrating like electricity through her veins. Every detail, her tightened jaw, clenched fingers, the deep breath she takes, signals a shift from uncertainty to mission. Areez insists on stopping at a nearby diner before going to the clinic. The place is classic American. Neon signs buzzing, stainless steel counters, the smell of pancakes and burnt coffee. Rhea sits in a booth, barely touching the glass of water in front of her. Areez orders for both, waffles for himself, black coffee for her, because she's shaking too much to decide. Their conversation is soft but heavy. Areez, whatever truth we find, you're not facing it alone. Rhea's eyes fill, but she doesn't let tears fall. Not here, not yet. Voiceover for her internal struggle. Trust is a luxury I never had room for. But with Areez, the silence doesn't frighten me. She pulls the notebook out again and studies Meher's smiling photograph. She touches Meher's cheek in the picture, the same way she used to in real life, thumb brushing gently, lovingly. Areez notices. He places his hand over hers, warm, grounding. We'll find her, Rhea. Dead or alive. We'll find her true. The diner lights hum louder, like the universe echoing his promise. The clinic is small, clean, and suspiciously quiet. Glass walls reveal rows of chairs, outdated posters about child health, and a reception desk too organized to be normal. As if staged. Rhea steps inside first. The air smells like antiseptic and citrus cleaning spray. Every sound, the click of her boots, the hum of the AC, feels magnified. A young receptionist greets them, but when Rhea mentions Dr. Daniel's name, the woman hesitates. For a split second too long. Areez notices, Rhea notices, and the audience definitely notices. Rhea leans forward, voice steady but edged with fire. I'm looking for answers about my sister, Meher. Dr. Daniel treated her years ago. I know he remembers. The receptionist swallows hard. He doesn't work here anymore. Where is he? I can't say. There were issues, complaints. He left suddenly. Rhea's pulse spikes. Her voiceover whispers darkly. People don't disappear unless they have something to hide. Areez quietly slips a card on the desk, his eyes locked with hers. We're not leaving until you tell us where he went. The scene ends with the receptionist glancing nervously toward a backroom door, the one labeled Records Authorized Personnel Only. A clue, a direction, and trouble waiting on the other side. The atmosphere inside the clinic thickens like fog. The receptionist keeps darting glances at the Records Authorized Personnel Only door, her fingers tapping nervously on the desk. Each tap sounds like a warning. Rhea steps forward, her eyes locked on the metal door as if she can feel Meher's name pulsing behind it. Areez, sensing Rhea's rising tension, moves closer, not to stop her, but to steady her. Every door in my life has either hidden pain or taken someone from me. But this one might give something back. Areez quietly leans toward the receptionist. We're not here to cause trouble, but we need to know what happened to Dr. Daniel and why he kept our records. The receptionist's voice cracks slightly. I shouldn't say this, but some children were transferred under unusual circumstances. Complaints were filed. He disappeared right after. Rhea's heart slams against her ribs. Transferred? Under whose authority? The receptionist just shakes her head. I don't know, but the old files, they're still in that room. No one touched them after the investigation was closed. That's enough for Rhea. She pushes the door open. Inside, dust floats in narrow beams of light, leaking through blinds. Shelves line the walls, stacked with old files, broken boxes, and metal lockers with peeling labels. One locker, half rusted, reads MEHER. Rhea's breathing stops. The scene ends on her trembling hand, touching the cold metal letters. The file cabinet squeals as Rhea pulls the drawer open, a slow, metallic scream that echoes her dread. Inside are dozens of folders, but one stands out. A red tab with Meher's name typed neatly. Rhea opens it with both hands, as if afraid it might burn her. Inside, medical notes about Meher's fever and bruises, reports signed by Dr. Daniel, a handwritten note, urgent, child at risk, further action required, and a transfer paper with Rhea's name missing completely. Her hands shake violently. Voiceover, Rhea. I wasn't just forgotten. I was erased. Areez reads over her shoulder, jaw tightening. The file states Meher was placed in temporary protective custody because her guardian, Rhea, was deemed unstable, unfit, emotionally compromised. Rhea steps back, staggered, like she's been punched. Her voice cracks. That's a lie. I never left her. I never hurt her. Areez gently holds her shoulders. I know. These papers were written by someone who needed you out of the way. Rhea flips another page, a signature by Dr. Daniel, authorizing Meher's transfer to an undisclosed facility. Her eyes burn, her pulse roars in her ears. The last paper contains a faded address, half visible, half scratched out, but enough to follow. The scene closes with Rhea whispering, I'm coming for you, Meher. I swear, I'm coming. They step out of the clinic into the harsh afternoon glare. The sun feels too bright, too loud, almost mocking. Rhea clutches the file to her chest like it might shatter if she lets go. Areez walks beside her, slow, steady, giving her space to breathe. Rhea suddenly stops near the sidewalk, covering her face with both hands. Her breath shakes uncontrollably. Her knees weaken. The world blurs. Every truth feels like losing her all over again. Areez immediately catches her before she falls, lowering her to sit on the curb. He kneels in front of her, arms around her, shielding her from passers-by who stare with careless curiosity. Rhea, look at me, he says softly. You didn't fail her. Someone else did. Someone who had power. Rhea sobs silently, tears sliding down trembling fingers. I could have fought harder. Areez shakes his head firmly. No, you were a kid trying to protect another kid. The system failed both of you, not you. His tone is gentle but fierce, the kind that snaps someone back from self-blame. Rhea looks up, eyes swollen, lost but alive. Promise me we won't stop, she whispers. I promise. And the weight of that promise settles between them like steel. They spread the file across the hood of Areez's car. The transfer form shows a location, but half the address is scraped away, smeared with ink, like someone tried to permanently conceal it. All they can read is Haven Center, Block 7, Sector. The rest is torn. Areez takes a picture. Rhea traces the faded ink with her finger, as if pressure might bring the words back. Suddenly, her eyes widen. The ink, it's from a fountain pen. Dr. Daniel always used one. He wrote this. Areez nods, and he tried to hide the location later. The motive becomes painfully clear. He didn't want anyone, especially Rhea, finding Meher. Rhea flips to the back of the folder. There's a tiny sticky note, almost overlooked. Ask Saba. She knows more. Her breath catches again. Saba wasn't just a neighbor. She was a witness, and maybe more. Rhea wipes her tears. Areez, we have to go back to her. She didn't tell us everything. Saba opens the door even before they knock. Her expression is tense, uneasy, like someone who has been expecting a storm. Rhea steps inside without waiting for permission, holding the folder. You knew they took her, she says, voice not angry, but hollow. You knew more than you said. Saba sits heavily on the couch, shoulders sinking. I was trying to keep you safe, child. Rhea kneels in front of her, desperate. Safe from what? What happened? Why was Dr. Daniel involved? Where did they take Meher? Saba hesitates. Her hands tremble. Finally, she whispers. There was someone else. Someone who wanted Meher. Someone who had the authority to move her without question. A chill runs through Rhea. Who? Saba closes her eyes. Dr. Daniel wasn't the real danger. He was following orders. Rhea leans closer. Whose orders? Saba looks up with haunted eyes. The Haven Center wasn't just a shelter. It was a place children were relocated. Quietly. Sometimes. Rhea's stomach twists. Her voiceover trembles with fear and rage. Someone stole her. Someone thought they could rewrite Meher's life, like crossing out a line in a notebook. Saba whispers the final blow. The person who signed the final transfer was from Child Protection Authority, a woman named. Fade to black. Name not yet revealed. A dim yellow light glows above Rhea's hospital bed. Areez sits beside her, his shoulders slumped forward, eyes red from sleeplessness. His fingers keep trembling as he stares at her unconscious form. A beat. Areez, I loved you, but I never understood you. Not truly. He looks at the red notebook resting near her pillow. He picks it up slowly, holds it tightly, but does not open it. Just then, Dr. Daniel enters quietly. Dr. Daniel, Areez, she needs time. You need the truth. Areez exhales shakily. Areez, I'm ready, even if it breaks me. Dr. Daniel nods toward the notebook. Before Areez can open it, Meher appears at the doorway, pale, shaken, eyes swollen from crying. Meher, don't open it. Not yet. Areez, that notebook isn't about what you think, and you're not ready for what's inside. Silence thickens the room. Cut to black. Meher walks in slowly, closing the door behind her. She goes straight to Rhea, takes her limp hand gently, like she's scared it might slip away forever. Her voice is barely a whisper. Meher, I failed her. I didn't listen. I let her fall alone. Areez turns toward her, confused and tense. Areez, Meher, do you know what's inside this notebook? Meher lifts her teary eyes and nods. Meher, yes. She wrote everything she never said out loud. Every fear, every wound, every moment she hid behind a smile. Areez swallows hard. Areez, was she angry with me? Meher shakes her head slowly. Meher, no, Areez. She loved you more than she ever confessed. But sometimes love isn't enough to save someone from their own shadows. A heavy silence follows. Dr. Daniel steps closer. Dr. Daniel, Meher, tell him. Tell him what happened in Rhea's house, the thing you've been hiding. Meher's breath gets stuck in her throat. Her fingers curl around Rhea's hand. Meher was being blackmailed. Areez's world stops. Cut. Dr. Daniel pulls out his phone and shows Areez the last message Rhea received before collapsing. A blank screen. One sinister text. Text message. I know who you are. I know your past. You can fool everyone else, but not yourself. Do not show those letters to anyone, or they'll all learn what you've been hiding. Areez's hands tremble. Areez, who sent this? Who knew about the letters? Dr. Daniel exchanges a grave look with Meher. Meher, the letters in that red notebook aren't new. They're years old. They were written during the worst time of her life. Areez's voice cracks. Areez, why didn't she tell me? Meher wipes her tears. Meher, because she thought she'd lose you. Fade out. Areez sits alone now, the red notebook in his lap. He finally opens it. Page 1. Rhea's handwriting. Shaky, fragile, painful. Rhea's voice, the written words. Dear future me, if you're reading this, it means you survived another day. I'm proud of you, even if no one else knows what you hide. Areez's throat tightens. Next page, Rhea's voice. I carry memories that don't let me sleep. People think I'm strong, but strength is just a mask I stitched from old scars. Areez shuts his eyes, fighting tears. He flits more pages, dozens of entries, some tear-stained, some ripped, some blurred with smudged ink. The last page of the section is a single line. If I ever disappear one day, tell Areez it wasn't his fault. Areez breaks. Saba rushes inside, breathless, panic all over her face. She sees Areez sitting on the bench, holding the notebook, destroyed from inside. Saba, panicked. Areez, I found something about the number that texted her. Areez looks up slowly, his voice weak. Areez, who was it? Saba hands him a printed record. Saba, the number, it's not random. It was bought with a fake ID. But the location trace shows it was near Rhea's old neighborhood. Meher steps closer, heart pounding. Meher, that place? Again? After all these years? Saba hesitates, then whispers. Saba, Areez, whoever sent that message knows exactly what happened in her past. Areez grips the notebook tightly. Areez, then I'll find them, and I'll end this. Cut. Areez re-enters Rhea's room. He sits next to her, takes her hand gently. His voice is soft, but burning with determination. Areez, Rhea, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Whoever hurt you, whoever scared you, they'll answer to me now. He places the red notebook near her hand. Areez, I'm not afraid of your truth. I just wish you didn't have to carry it alone. Suddenly, Rhea's fingers move slightly. Areez freezes, leans closer. Tears fill his eyes. Areez, Rhea, can you hear me? Her eyelids flutter weakly, as if she's trying to return from a very dark place. Fade out. The room is eerily quiet, except for the soft hum of machines. Areez sits at Rhea's side, still holding her hand like it's the last link between them. Then, Rhea's eyelids flutter again. A slow, painful attempt at returning to consciousness. Areez leans forward instantly, breath trembling. Areez, soft emotional. Rhea, it's me. I'm right here. Open your eyes, please. Rhea's fingers tighten slightly around his. Her lips part, a faint whisper escaping. Rhea, weak, almost broken. Don't open the letters. Areez's heart stops. Areez, Rhea, why? What are you afraid of? Her brows scrunch, as if even thinking hurts her. Rhea, whispering, "They will hurt you too." Her voice fades. Her eyes close again. Areez stares at her, shattered. Then he turns toward the notebook as if it's a living threat. Areez, determined, whisper, "I don't care who tries. No one hurts you again. Not while I breathe." Cut to black. Dawn breaks. Soft gold creeps through the windows. Areez sits alone, notebook open in his lap. He reaches a sealed envelope inside, titled Letter 1, Only If I Can't Speak Anymore. His fingers shake as he opens it. Rhea's handwriting fills the page. Rhea's, reading the letter, "If you're reading this, then life has silenced me again. I hope you're sitting, because what I'm about to say, I never had the courage to tell you." Areez's breath tightens. Rhea's, "Someone from my past came back. Not physically, but through messages. Threats. Warnings. Reminders of a chapter I buried so deeply that even Meher begged me not to revisit it." Areez closes his eyes in pain. "Rhea's, I didn't want to drag you into my nightmares. You are light, and I have always been afraid my darkness would drown you." Areez's tears fall onto the page. Areez whispering, "You should have trusted me. I would have held every piece of you." Fade out. Saba spreads out papers, call logs, and location traces across the table. Meher sits opposite her, arms stiff, eyes exhausted. "Saba, I traced the second message too. Same fake ID, same area. But look, the sender stayed within a 300-meter radius of Rhea's old neighborhood." Meher stiffens immediately. Meher, low, shaken, "That's where everything happened. The night she never talks about." Saba nods. "Saba, and whoever this person is, they're watching her again. This isn't random." Areez arrives, holding the letter tightly. His voice is cold, controlled, dangerous. "Areez, what exactly happened in that neighborhood? I'm done with half-truths." Meher's expression softens with guilt. "Meher, she begged me not to tell anyone. But the truth is, that place holds her oldest wound." Areez leans forward, jaw tense. "Areez, then we're going there. Now." Meher and Saba exchange fearful glances. Cut. A narrow, worn-down street. Darkened doorways, boarded windows. The silence feels like a memory that refuses to die. Areez, Meher, and Saba step out of the car. Saba points at a small corner building. "Saba, that's where the signal was traced, right behind that abandoned shop." Areez walks ahead with full determination. Meher, soft, anxious. "Areez, please, this place broke her once. Be careful." Areez continues without stopping. They reach the back alley. A thick silence hangs heavy. Suddenly, a loose cardboard box shifts. Someone's shadow moves quickly around the corner. Areez rushes forward, but finds no one. Only a crumpled piece of paper on the ground. He picks it up. The handwriting is unmistakable. "Tell Rhea I'm not done yet." A chill runs through everyone. Areez, furious, "They're watching us. They knew we'd come." Meher steps back, terrified. Meher, voice trembling, "This is the same pattern, the same fear." Areez looks at the note again, his anger turning into cold determination. "Areez, I'm ending this nightmare. Tonight." Fade out. The room is dim, lit only by a desk lamp. Dr. Daniel sits alone, staring at Rhea's medical chart with a heaviness in his eyes. Areez enters abruptly, drops the threat note on the desk. Areez, firm, "Doctor, you knew something. You always knew. What happened in her past?" Dr. Daniel closes the file slowly. Dr. Daniel, "Areez, there are some truths that don't heal just by revealing them." Areez steps closer, voice breaking. "Areez, she's fighting for her life. And someone is still tormenting her. Tell me what you're hiding." Dr. Daniel exhales deeply, like a man who has carried a secret for far too long. "Dr. Daniel, years ago, Rhea came to this hospital, not as a patient, but as a victim. Areez freezes. Dr. Daniel continues, voice full of regret. Dr. Daniel, she was traumatized, shaking, terrified of someone who wouldn't leave her alone. Areez's heartbeat races. Areez, who was it? Dr. Daniel lowers his gaze. Dr. Daniel, I do. The messages she's receiving now match the pattern of the threats she got back then. Areez feels the world fall apart. Dr. Daniel, final line. Whoever haunted her past is back. A storm rages outside the glass windows. Thunder rolls like an echo of the chaos inside Areez's heart. He walks through the hospital hallway, gripping the notebook and the threat note together. His face no longer shows fear, only a silent, burning determination. He reaches Meher and Saba in the waiting area. Areez, low steady. I'm done running. We end this tonight. Saba rises immediately. What did Dr. Daniel tell you? Areez breathes deeply. Areez, that this man, the one haunting Rhea, is repeating the same pattern he used years ago. He wants her terrified, silent, and isolated. Meher looks down, fists tightening. Meher, he almost succeeded back then. Areez turns toward the hallway. Areez, not this time. Cut to interior, hospital, storage wing. Dr. Daniel meets them near an old restricted area of the hospital. Dr. Daniel, there's something you need to see. Rhea kept a copy of her previous psychiatric file here, hidden. He leads them to a small, dim storage room. A single metal cabinet stands at the back. Dr. Daniel unlocks it and pulls out a sealed envelope. Case file Rhea A. Meher covers her mouth in fear. Areez opens it. Inside are photographs of letters, threat messages, warnings, the same style, the same handwriting, the same person. Areez, under his breath, he never stopped watching her. Saba carefully examines the papers. Saba, these threats go back 6 years. But one message repeats over and over. Don't show the letters. He was scared she'd expose him. Areez's jaw clenches. Areez, he tormented her into silence, into fear, into believing she was alone. Meher whispers, voice cracking. Meher. And that's why she wrote everything in the red notebook, because she had no one else. The weight of those words fills the room. A soft beeping, cold white light, the slow rhythm of breath. Rhea's eyes open slowly, for the first time, truly awake. Areez rushes to her side instantly, relief flooding through him. Areez, soft, trembling. Rhea, thank God. I thought I lost you. Rhea swallows, voice fragile. Rhea, you shouldn't be here. He'll hurt you too. Areez shakes his head. Areez, I'm not afraid of him. And you don't have to be either. Not anymore. Tears slip from Rhea's eyes. Rhea, I tried to protect you by hiding everything, by keeping the letters locked away. Areez gently touches her cheek. Areez, show me the truth, Rhea. All of it, please. Rhea nods weakly. She opens the notebook with trembling fingers, turns to the very last page, a page no one had seen yet. There, in her writing, is a confession. The letters were never just warnings. They were evidence, proof of what he did to me, proof of what he threatened to do again. Rhea lives. Rhea, he was someone my family trusted, someone who knew every corner of my life. He told me that if I ever spoke, he would destroy anyone I cared about. Areez holds her tightly. Areez, firm, emotional. You're not living in that fear anymore. I'm here. Meher is here. Saba, Dr. Daniel. We all stand with you now. Rhea sobs softly, like years of pain finally escaping. Rhea, I just wanted peace, and even that felt stolen. Areez leans his forehead against hers. Areez, you'll have it now. I promise. Cut 2. Saba enters the room urgently. Saba, we trace the signal again. He's close, very close. Areez's eyes harden. Areez, then let him come. We're ready. The final confrontation approaches. Fade out. A cold blue light fills the corridor. Areez, Meher, Saba, and Dr. Daniel stand like a wall outside Rhea's room, waiting, breathing, prepared. Suddenly, a faint footstep echoes down the hall. A shadow moves. Areez steps forward. Areez, loud, firm. Show yourself! A tall figure steps into the dim light, but the camera, for script purposes, never reveals his face fully. Saba pulls out the evidence file. Saba, we have everything. Every message, every threat, every trace. The figure freezes. Areez steps closer, fearless. Areez, it's over. You won't hurt her again. The man tries to turn, but Meher blocks the exit. Dr. Daniel presses the security alert. Within seconds, guards rush in and restrain the man. He struggles, but he's finished. Finally. Cut 2. Interior hospital room, sunrise. Soft golden sunlight fills the room. Rhea lies awake, exhausted but safe. Areez walks in slowly. She whispers, Rhea, Areez, yes, because you were brave enough to write the truth. Those letters, they saved you, Rhea. They saved all of us. Rhea finally lets herself breathe. A peaceful breath she's been waiting for years. She looks at the red notebook. Rhea, soft smile. I carried my pain in these pages. But now maybe I can start writing something new. Areez holds her hand. Areez, and you won't write it alone. Rhea smiles through tears. Meher, Saba, and Dr. Daniel enter, standing around her with warmth and relief. The family she built, the love she earned, the peace she deserved. Camera pulls back slowly. The notebook closes gently, symbolizing the end of her suffering. For more emotional stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to Heartland Stories.